what's going on, guys? That cutting I was doing on that paper, that was just me being a big old dodo. Tonight, I said once again, could be out running, going for a walk. Instead, I'm here making a knife video. And tonight, it's not Scotch; it's actually white corn whiskey. And yes, it was made in a licensed distillery, and I bought it at the liquor store. And it's really, really corny, kind of like me. All right, you're not laughing. Understandable. Okay, so this is the video on the two T.O.P.S knives that I bought, and there's actually a story that goes along with me obtaining these knives. And I was at the Reno Gun Show, and I think it was in 2001. I was at the Reno Gun Show. Me, my mom, my dad all went up there as a family trip. You know, got the hotel room, all that. So I went down, and I was more into knives. In California, you really couldn't own really anything at that point. You couldn't really bring anything back with you in the way of firearms. So I actually just went to check these different knife makers out, and there were a lot of different knife makers. Nobody was doing lotteries like Blade Show or anything like that. They were just, you know, everything was pretty even kill. Everybody had their tables out, and I came across a whole table full of T.O.P.S knives, and I went up to the guy and talked to him, and it was Mike Fuller. And I walked up to him. I said, "Are you T.O.P.S knives?" And he says, "Yes, I am." I think something like that. I'm paraphrasing. It's been a while here. You know, the details are clouded, but I can remember almost remember the whole thing like it was yesterday. And so I started talking about knife making. Of course, right off the bat, said I'm making them myself. I'm trying to get into this. And he began to give me some pointers about what type of machinery is good, what to buy. You know, there's how you can use different jigs to do hollow grinding. And it, you know, led to a long, you know, we talked about a good half an hour, 45 minutes. I said, hey, I got my knives back up in my hotel room. I'll bring them down and show you. So I brought this big pile of knives wrapped up in a rag, okay? And, you know, the security at the show looked funny at me. But this is one of them here. This is actually number 8. I used to number my knives. And I was talking to him about hollow grinding, flat grinding, and I was saying to him that I just do convex grinds now. And, you know, but I would like to get into hollow grinding and flat grinding. I just use a 1-horse Craftsman belt sander, and right now I'm only doing these convex jobs. And this knife here, I had a Paca wood. Actually, these grips are detachable. They have screws. You can take them out. And he gave me a really cool compliment. He said that I do very good for the equipment I have at my disposal. He said this also to his distributors that were at the table. And he said that I have a very good sense of style, and that there's definitely a place in knife making for me. I was like, wow. I mean, that's, you know, that's huge. If you're like trying to get into something, and they're telling you, and the guy's telling you this, it's huge. It's just like this huge compliment. You know, it just starts driving you to go harder and get that next level of game up. You know, of course, I took the advice. I bought the grinders and got everything I needed, and now I'm making this right here. This is what I make now. And it wasn't until later on, you know, when I began to see everybody else doing convex grinds, you know, the masters that are here on YouTube doing convex grinds, that I understand that the convex grind's also a good grind. But, you know, I got the equipment to do hollow grinds, flat grinds, so it's knives like this that I make now. Well, anyway, I was impressed with Mike, and I wanted a souvenir to remember the show by. So I had bought 2 knives from him. The first one I bought off of him was the Sparrow Hawk. The Sparrow Hawk is $10.95 with a what's called black traction coating. I think it's like a polyester type coating. Interesting way they set this up here. If you look closely, these are flange tubing, but this here has the same type of. You can see the outline of an outlet here that's similar to this type of outlet here. So I think they have like a master knife that they put these in, because this is completely flat on this side. This side's thermoformed on the Kydex. And it's interesting how they do their Kydex. Their Kydex has holes in it, and on the other side you have actual machine screws that go through aluminum like the aluminum flat back pieces. And there's a clip on this side that uses an inside the pant holster, which is, you know, typically for the inside the pant holsters. They adapted it for the clip on this knife, and I kind of like this clip. It's really neat because you can pack this onto a waistband. I used to carry this quite often. You can carry this on a waistband, or you can put it on gear, and you also have orientation so it moves. It doesn't just like stay rigid and tear off when you get in and out of a car. It'll actually kind of move this way, move that way. Rock solid coming out. Blade itself, since I just did that on the work sharp, so I was doing some cut testing. It has a like an OD green and black micarta, and it's not marked. What they did on this one is they put Sparrow Hawk T.O.P.S knives right there on the grip, and they grind, you know, the insides of the grip out and give it this contouring, which is really neat. It feels good in the hand. And I used to use this knife quite a bit. The second knife that I bought was this is called the Street Scalpel, and it's $10.95. I'll show you the sheath real quick. It's a Kydex sheath, and they use rivets here with two of the bolts here, and they have this thing with it, this process where they kind of like cut out the middle, put a clip in it, fold it over, and then put the two screws in to hold the clip in. I've carried this a lot myself also, and I kind of like this knife because it gives it nice. It's a thick blade. It has a real short, I mean thick, you know, piece of steel that they use, but it uses a really short hollow grind blade. Black traction coating. The logo here is, I don't know if it's some kind of paint that they use, but it's kind of a really cool militarized looking logo on the knife. And these screws here are really cool. They use like a piece of round stock that's threaded, and then the machine screws are on, so there's no chance. If you strip the screws, you just make a new one. You know, this isn't actually tapped into the steel. Threads aren't tapped into the steel. But these are the T.O.P.S knives that I bought, and like I said, I went up, brought a big old pile of knives back to Mike. You know, he talked about the knife making, what to do, what sort of machinery to pick up. Never get to watch this video. I'll never forget that conversation we had. I'll never forget meeting you. I'll always have these blades. And you're really like I guess would the word be a catalyst? Like a driving force. I mean, I always remember those words you gave me, that it really encouraged me. It really kind of gave me that wind in the sails to move forward in this and actually, you know, get into the business end. You know, it took a long time for me to get into the business end, but I actually got into the business end, and those words of encouragement kind of helped me along. And you know, every time I kind of felt on motivation, I remember what you said, and I remember remember what he said, and that, you know, that there was a place for me, and I was really stoked to hear that. So thank you, Mike. If you get to watch this video, thank you, Mike Fuller. And I want to show everybody my T.O.P.S knives that will never leave my collection. Thanks for watching, guys.